This is the SAU Report, a program featuring interviews with the faculty, staff, students, and alumni of Southern Arkansas University in Magnolia.
Welcome. I am Doreen Durham.
And I'm Anastasia Theodoridou. Our guests today are Dr. David Rankin, Dean of School of Business Administration, and Inessa Dvizova, President of Student Free Enterprise Organization.
Welcome, Dr. Rankin and Inessa.
Thank you.
Dr. Rankin, could you tell us your educational background, please?
Well, I earned a bachelor's degree in management from the University of Arkansas, and I spent a little time in industry after that, and then went to Louisiana Tech, earned a master's, and changed my field to finance, and then earned a PhD in finance from the University of Mississippi.
Inessa, where did you graduate from high school?
I graduated from Minden High School in Louisiana because I came there my sophomore year, so I finished the school 2 years there, and then I came here as a CIS major.
And before then?
Before then, I was going to school in Russia, so after completing 9 grades, I came here.
Dr. Rankin, when did you become Dean School of Business?
Well, I've actually been dean twice, once in the late 70s and early 80s, and most recently in 1994. So this is, I'm working on now my 4th year back in this opportunity.
Inessa, how long have you been in SAU? You said 95?
This is my 2nd year in SAU.
Second year? And
That's
how do
right.
you like it so far?
Well, I love the school. It's a very small community, very close environment. I think it gives you a very good chance to interact with the professors, and I found a lot of friends here too. So, plus I found that the major of my study is computer information systems, and the resources that we have here are excellent for my degree.
As Dean, what are some of your responsibilities?
Well, they're really fairly varied. You certainly work with faculty, work with students, work with the curriculum of the School of Business Administration. And one of the most challenging areas is interacting with the accreditation agencies, and that's very challenging, very exciting also. And in addition, you work with budgets and facilities, organizations. So it's really kind of exciting, and a lot of interesting opportunities, I think.
Inessa, you are a business major, right?
That's correct.
Are college classes what you expected? Are they too hard for you or too easy for you?
Well, I guess you have to compare individual subjects, because right now I have a test in economics, and I'm studying very hard for it. But I think that the classes here really give you the opportunity to be prepared for the business environment that you're going to be in once you graduate from university. So I'm trying to do my homework. I'm trying to do well in courses to be able to get ready.
Dr. Rankin, we have a master's program. Could you talk a little bit about that, and how old is the program?
It's brand new. Doreen, we just began that in the fall of 1997. It's, I think, an exciting program because it allows Southern Arkansas University to be part of offering an MBA program to people in this part of the world. And it's also a cooperative program. It took the University of Arkansas at Little Rock, their School of Business, and the School of Business at SAU to put that together. And so students will take undergraduate courses for us to fulfill any level 1 requirements they need. Then they'll take the graduate courses from UALR.
Dr. Rankin, how successful has it been so far? And approximately how many students are availing for that program?
Here at SAU we have 17 students that are in that program. I think it's been very successful, although we've had some interesting technical difficulties early on because this is a brand new program. We had never done it before. We're offering it through distance learning, which means the professor at UALR is teaching there on their campus to about 30 students, but he's also instructing students at the University of Arkansas Monticello and Southern Arkansas University. So once we got over the technical difficulties, it's worked very well.
Dr. Rankin, about how many students are availing themselves of the master's program now?
Well, all total, right now there are 17 students taking the graduate classes, and then we have about 20 students who are taking undergraduate classes at SAU to prepare themselves for the graduate class. For instance, you might have an engineer that might have a degree in chemical engineering, but has not had the prerequisite undergraduate courses in accounting, economics, management, marketing. So they'll come to SAU and take those 30 hours, then they'll be ready for the MBA program, and the next cycle will start in the fall of 1999.
Inessa, what were some of the fun things you did in Russia when you were growing up?
Well, I guess studying was all the fun things we did, but I guess when you're growing up, your parents and your school stresses a lot on the importance of education. That's why you're trying to really spend most of your time studying, getting ready to go to school, to the university, because it's very selective admissions and it's very hard to get in. But some of the things we did was we're going to the school's dances and the private public events, movie houses, movie theaters, stuff like that.
Inessa, do you have any brothers and sisters?
I sure do. I have a brother who's 22 years old right now, and he's going to the university back home, so we kind of have similarities in some of the things we kind of compare right now.
Dr. Rankin, where did the funding for the master's program come from?
The funding really comes from the students who are engaged in the program. We did not have any additional funding to put this program together, so the two universities had to cooperate to make it work on tuition. And so the students who are taking our classes pay undergraduate tuition for our classes. Students who are taking the master's classes pay graduate tuition to the University of Arkansas at Little Rock. And then the two universities have cooperated in terms of facilities. We allow the University of Arkansas to use our facilities, and other than paying for line charges back and forth for the transmission of the television signals, it's basically financed by tuition.
Dr. Rankin, do you see other majors created in using this type of system that you're using now for the business administration major?
Absolutely. I think it's quite possible that we could have additional programs offered at SAU that we might not offer otherwise. And by the same token, I can see us offering what we call compressed video classes on other campuses, because all you have to do is have a location to send these signals to. And then we could teach classes in several locations around the state, and particularly around our region. I think it has tremendous possibilities.
Inessa, you're the president of SAIF, which is Students in Free Enterprise.
That's correct.
Could you describe the organization a little bit for us?
Sure. Well, as Students in Free Enterprise, we try to educate the public and our community about the economy of the United States, of how the economy works, what are some of the issues of the free enterprise. Plus, we're trying to compare also the economy here and the economies abroad. For instance, some of our projects involve actually some students speaking in the classes, like the International Expo. The international students will speak in classes of School of Business, and to show the differences of how the economy works in their countries, so that maybe we can find the benefits of the American enterprise system.
Dr. Rankin, you have an investment course that is broadcast on Channel 13. Could you tell us how it got started, and will there be other courses?
The investment class really came as a result of us broadcasting the Principles of Macroeconomics class in the fall of 1996. We had this wonderful facility here in the business building, and we really were not using it as heavily as I thought we might. So it was sort of, we needed to teach a class on TV. So we went down and visited with Mr. Robert Banks' Magnolia Cable TV system. He agreed to broadcast it. So we decided, let's go ahead and do it. So the Principles of Macroeconomics class was our first effort in business to try to do something like this. And I thought it was fairly successful. So then this fall, so many people are interested in investments. I thought that'll be a natural. Even if people aren't taking it for credit, they may well want to watch the class for just their personal benefit. And it would also give our students an opportunity to be exposed to distance learning here on the campus, and then we hope maybe that would promote the whole concept of distance learning by television.
Dr. Rankin, how many people exactly are involved in the production of this class?
We have really two students that help us produce this. Yourself, Anastasia, and Steve McGarity are here every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday to videotape the class. And you have done an excellent job, I believe. Then Steve McGarity comes in on Tuesday and Thursday nights and runs the class over Magnolia Cable TV system, and runs the little beginning and ending TV portions that have been produced, and has done an excellent job. So it's all done by students.
Inessa, how can a student become a member of Student for Free Enterprise? Do you have to be a business major?
Well, I don't think there's a requirement to be a business major, because last year one of our most active students was Archana Banderi, who was a math major. So I think as long as you're interested in business subjects, maybe in economics, and if you're interested in completing the projects and being active in SAIF, I think you should give it a thought about becoming a member.
Also, there will be a SAIF credit course for next semester, I believe. What are the requirements for that course, Dr. Rankin?
Yes, there is. It's called Free Enterprise Studies and Projects, Economics 4023. And basically, it's sort of a field experience in learning more about free market economics. So the students basically learn about free market economics, and then they promote a better understanding of free market economics through many of the various projects, such as the International Expo, for instance. The students will also go out into the public schools and promote a better understanding of economics. So the students are involved in meeting weekly together, but more importantly, they're involved in various projects to promote better economic understanding. And that's the way they earn credit in the class.
Is this class an honorary class?
It is.
So students must have a 3.9 above?
That's correct.
Okay.
Dr. Rankin, where did you find the funding for the television, the 13-channel television program?
We had a little bit of help from the Department of Continuing Education and the School of Business, but it was very modest because all we did was produce the beginning and ending portions of the program where we introduce it and have some nice video graphics there. All of the rest of it was done with student workers, no additional compensation for any faculty members or anything of this nature. So one thing I like about it, in addition, we simply televise a live class. So there's no additional cost of doing that. So it's a very economical way to present distance learning.
Inessa, how do you think that SAIF helps the business major students? Does it prepare them for the business world?
Oh, I think certainly it does. First of all, you interact with a lot of business leaders of our community. You also interact with a lot of professors at SAU, certainly. And you develop good public skills. Through a lot of projects we're competing, we have to make presentations. For instance, we use computer facilities like Microsoft PowerPoint. And I think only after my years through SAIF, I found out what a zip drive is. You know, how you download something from another site, how you use and create a presentation, and how about 4 hours before the presentation you try to put everything together so it'll work. And I think any business major will definitely benefit from SAIF.
Dr. Rankin, on the investment class that you're televising, have you gotten any feedback from the community? Do you have any idea about how many people in the community are watching?
I don't know a total number, but I know a lot of people have watched one or more programs. And I'm amazed because as I am out in the community, a lot of people have stopped me and say, I saw you on TV or I watched this, and some have said, I've watched every program. So I've really been amazed at the number of people who are just watching it for their own benefit and maybe enjoying it. They'll be channel surfing, they'll come across it, and maybe it may be a topic of investments they're interested in, so they've stopped to watch.
Are you planning a course for the spring semester?
I do not know if we'll have one for the spring. So far we've just done it each fall, but I've been talking to some of our other faculty members. Would like to get them interested in it and let them gain some experience through distance learning. So I hope we're going to have further courses.
Of course, I'd like to suggest an income tax course.
An income tax course, that might be excellent.
That would be really the time period for all of the community to watch, and it might be very helpful.
That's an excellent suggestion. Perhaps we can incorporate that into some of our ideas for us. Maybe we could do a short course in income tax.
Dr. Rankin, you're also the advisor of SAIF, correct?
That's correct.
What are some of your responsibilities? Do you actually make the decisions, or are you just helping the students?
I like to have the students make the decisions, but an advisor is certainly there to say, maybe that might not be the greatest idea, maybe we ought to go another direction simply because you have the experience maybe to help the students. But it's basically a student-led organization. Inessa does an excellent job as our SAIF president this year, and she's coordinated many of the different projects and activities. So the advisor's role is not to do it and not to make the decisions, but simply to give advice and guidance as we move along and to share some years of experience in how the process works.
Inessa, could you tell us some of the SAIF projects that you've completed this year?
Sure. So far we have completed a number of projects, ranging from as a small project as giving the book covers to the Central Elementary School to something huge like the International Expo that Anastasia were a part of. another project we've made so far was the Make the Difference Day. And in that project we have incorporated the DHS, Department of Human Services of Magnolia, and we have invited the welfare participants of the DHS to come and listen and see, look at our program presentation we have created for them on how to transit into the workforce much faster and easier. And we have showed them the presentation on the job resume writing, about the job interview skills, and I think it was quite helpful to them. We have also done a number of projects on promoting the free market system in the community. So I think the projects we have done so far have been very, very valuable to the students of SAU as well as the community members.
Dr. Rankin, could you tell us a little bit about the student investment endowment and how is it managed?
That's been a real exciting project we've had here. As a result of a contribution made by the People's Bank, we were able to create an endowment fund that would be managed entirely by our students. And so we have students, they must have completed investments and they must have shown some good academic potential, and those students meet every month and manage that money, actually buying and selling real shares of stock. And we've been very pleased. They've had, over the last couple of years, have increased the portfolio by about a third. And it's been good experience for them, and it's obviously making some money for the university. The gains that are made from this effort go back to the School of Business Administration, but what we've done over the last several years is simply allow all the monies to stay into the fund so it'll grow faster.
Dr. Rankin, did the fund or you panic when the stock market, I guess about 3 weeks ago, kind of went down?
I didn't panic because I remember the 1987 decline of 508 points when the market was a lot lower. But now the students were shocked by a 554-point decline in the stock market, which is great. It's a great educational opportunity. And I think that kind of move in the market, the students in the investment class had their sample portfolios, artificial portfolios that they were following too, and it was a shock to them. But that's a great educational experience for it to happen to the students while they're here, rather than to wait until they get out into the real world and have their real money disappear.
Inessa, you're an active stock market investor.
That's correct.
What are some of your best stock suggestions so far from your experience?
Well, I have been investing for, I think, a little bit less than a year now, and I think when you're investing with the real money, I think you should consider some of the factors that in your investments, for instance, how much risk you want to take. What is the annual percentage you want to average of growth? For instance, 12, whether you should go to mutual funds or the stocks. So I think it's the personal decision that matters. And I've made my decisions. I've taken my risks, so I hope to do well.
What really made you get involved in investments?
I think it's just my personal interest. I've read so much about the stocks, about the investments, that I kind of want to try myself.
Inessa, in what area do you work as a student supplement instructor?
I work for Ms. Pearson as a supplementary instructor in the Intro to Computers course, helping students prepare for their tests, do their homework, just be familiar with computers as well.
Dr. Rankin, you're also involved in the Pewter letter.
Yes.
When did this exactly start and what does it involve?
We started that in 1995. And the Pewterball letter, I'm honored to be the Pewterball Professor of Free Enterprise. And the Pewterball Foundation made a contribution to Southern Arkansas University to establish that professorship. And some of the income from that endowment goes to fund the Pewterball letter. Pewterball letter basically is designed to improve the understanding of individuals about economic issues and principles. Several of the articles, one has been Dead-End Jobs, Fact or Fiction, which is an effort to try to let people realize that there really aren't any dead-end jobs. These are entry-level jobs, and most people start there and move on up. And the other one was capital gains taxes, and I thought that was also an excellent topic to have people understand more about how capital gains affects the economy.
Dr. Rankin, how often does this letter come out?
We have published it every 6 months or so. I would like to see it be a quarterly publication. If we can get a little additional funding, perhaps we can do that and do it on a quarterly basis.
Would you include some income tax coming out pretty soon?
And as a matter of fact, we would touch on some tax articles. Dr. Ashby is in the process now of preparing an article that would deal with the investment retirement aspect of that, which would touch on some of the tax issues.
Inessa, could you compare how would a student in Russia, let's say, would get paid for being a tutor, like a supplement instructor, or do you have such things in your country in like the college level?
Well, first I'd like to mention that as being a student in Russia, you don't necessarily work because you go to classes from 8 till 5 and then you have to do homework. And you don't go to classes 5 days a week, you go for 6 days. So Sunday's the time where all the students want to relax. So for a student to be working, it's a very unusual thing unless, you know, it's a senior year and you really find a very good job that you want to continue after your graduation. But being a tutor, if you're very good in, say, English or another area, you can be making an okay money. I mean, if you compare the standards of living, of course, the amount of paycheck that you're going to be getting is going to be less than in the United States. But there are some benefits about working as a tutor.
I'm just under the impression that in most foreign countries there is no free tutoring.
That's right.
So do you think the American system really helps college students?
I think so, it does, because a lot of students here would be hesitant to go to a session where they know that they have to show up with $5 or $10 per session. So I think that free benefit, it does help.
Dr. Rankin, you also put out a business review letter.
Yes. The business review basically is designed to let people know more about the School of Business Administration. We have a lot of activities that go on during the year, and we like to send this letter, this business review, to prospective students primarily, and to give them an idea of what we are doing and many of the exciting activities and opportunities they would have if they came to SAU as a business major.
Dr. Rankin, what are some of the elements that a student in free enterprise tries to enhance to students, in your opinion?
Well, the SAIF team, one of the major efforts is to learn more about the free enterprise system and then to teach it. That's the main mission of the SAIF team. But in the process, as Inessa mentioned, you develop your communication skills, because she's made a number of presentations and speeches on behalf of students in free enterprise to civic clubs and other groups, and it really enhances communication skills. In addition, it enhances teamwork skills, which are very important to business and industry, where students work together, maybe 3 or 4 work together on a project like the International Expo. Finally, they really get up to date on the latest technology in presentations, like, as she mentioned, PowerPoint, using laptop computers, sophisticated video projection systems, sound systems, to try to make a really polished professional presentation. So when students come through the SAIF program and they get out, their communication and teamwork skills are really enhanced.
Inessa, have you taken Dr. Rankin's investment class yet?
I haven't yet, but I have heard and I have seen on TV Dr. Rankin's class, so I think it's a wonderful opportunity for people to learn more about the investments. And I think Dr. Rankin should be seeing me next fall in his class.
That's right.
Inessa, is it true that there will be an honorary credit class for students of free enterprise? And where will that start exactly, this coming spring?
I think Dr. Rankin would be more eligible to answer this question.
Yes, it'll be in the spring, and it'll be on the regular schedule for the spring semester. Economics 4023. It does take instructor permission, so they do have to have permission, as I indicated earlier, to get into the class. But it is certainly available to anyone who would like to be involved and is willing to do the work, because there are some responsibilities there. You have to complete the projects, you have to go to the regional competition, so you really have to be involved.
Dr. Rankin, there is only an annual Murphy series that you have a speaker every year.
That's correct.
Could you talk a little bit about that?
The Murphy Lecture started in the late 70s with the help and support of Mr. Charles Murphy, Jr. of Murphy Oil Corporation. And we realized at that time that we were not bringing many nationally known speakers to the campus on a regular basis, and particularly in business, we had not had hardly any national individuals come to the campus. So he recognized that need. We worked together with him to establish the Murphy Lecture. Since then, we have had a continuous stream of national personalities in business and economics come to the campus, such as Lou Dobbs with Moneyline, and Dr. Walter Williams, an outstanding economist, Irving R. Levine, certainly well known around the world for his economic commentary. it's really made a tremendous difference. The lecture is always in the spring, always in April of the year. We have not selected our lecturer for this year, but we're very close to making that determination.
Inessa, what are some of the SIFE projects planned for this next semester?
Well, we have a number of projects we have planned so far, and one of the projects we're going to be doing is the Halt the Deficit project, where we're trying to let the community members of Mackinac, as well as the students of SAU, be aware of the national debt and the deficit. We bake a huge cake with each piece of cake representing each person's share of the debt. We do a number of presentations on the national debt, of course. Then we have a chicken economics presentation, which we prepare for the 5th graders in the Central Elementary School, where we create a rap about the free enterprise system, and we have a little chicken running around, dressed up, of course. So I think we have a very busy spring coming up, especially after completing the New York trip about 2 weeks ago.
Yes.
I think we have come up with some more ideas.
Dr. Rankin, what exactly is a Certified Financial Planner Board of Standards? Does it involve just the business majors, or is it involved with economics in the state?
The CFP program is one that we're very proud of, and Dr. David Ashby has been the faculty member who has really led our effort to become certified with the College of Financial Planning. And so at the present time, we're the only university in the state of Arkansas that is certified. So if a student majors in finance at Southern Arkansas University, they're automatically qualified then to sit for the CFP examination. And the Certified Financial Planner designation is very important to people who actually work with individuals to determine what their best financial plan is, develop a portfolio of securities and insurance and so forth for their future. Very exciting program.
Dr. Rankin, what is the function of the 15-member Business Student Advisory Council? Meets with you.
Well, as we say, when all else fails, ask the customer. And we consider our students certainly to be our valued customers. And I wanted to have some input on a regular basis into the School of Business Administration from students. These students are selected by the faculty each year, so if someone graduates, we add new individuals to the council. And they meet with me every month. And basically, they give me the student perspective. What are we doing? What do you think about our curriculum? What do you think about the way we schedule our classes? Are there any special problems that you see within the School of Business Administration? So we deal with everything from microwave ovens to parking to curriculum. It's really been a great way to get their input into our efforts. We really value what our students have to say.
Inessa, what are your hopes for the future? What do you plan to do after you graduate from SAU?
Well, I'd like to go to a very good master's school, of course, and finish up my MIS degree, Management Information Systems, and then try it myself in the real world to see how I can do there.
Dr. Rankin, could you talk a little bit about the multimedia equipment acquired through the financial support provided by the School of Business Endowment Fund?
What we have done here just recently is bought some of the nice new in-focus projectors. They're ideal. They weigh 11 pounds. You can use those in a classroom even when you have the lights on. So a faculty member can walk in with a laptop computer in one hand, the in-focus projector in the other hand, and make a multimedia presentation to students. And we are continuously using our endowment funds to buy additional projectors, to buy laptop computers for the faculty members so that they can bring the technology into the classroom, and also to take it off campus. Dr. Ashby uses this equipment frequently in the CFP program. The courses that we offer them as far away as Shreveport, Louisiana, to stockbrokers. It's made a huge difference in our efforts.
Dr. Rankin, how do you visualize the future for the business major? Is it optimistic?
Is it?
Optimistic?
Oh, yes. It's exciting. We try to have input from the students, and we try to have input from business and industry into our program. So we want our program to be the best it can possibly be, and we want it to really be relevant to what's happening in the real world. And so through our efforts to do that, we feel like we have one of the finest undergraduate business programs that a student could find anywhere. And we work on trying to be sure we maintain that, and that we're always out there looking for the new ideas and the new approaches that will keep our program vital.
We want to thank both of you for being with us today. I am Doreen Durham.
And I'm Anastasia Theodoridou. Thanks for watching.
The SAU Report is a production of broadcast journalism students in the Department of Theater and Mass Communication at Southern Arkansas University in Magnolia.